You only need to know me. I will be the one.
So, the God Valley flashback is once again over. For now. I say once again over because we've gotten pieces of this flashback from the eyes of various characters in the story up till now, and will likely conclude the flashback with a memory of God Valley, from a central figure to that arc, sometime in the future. My thinking is not so much Vigeland Garling of the Holy Knights, but instead the hero that arose from the mist of God Valley, the man who knows what really happened that fateful day, the day an incident occurred that forced Garp to join sides with a pirate, the pirate Gold D. Roger, as we now see that Garp's fate is unknown. But Oda definitely had him last seen and likely captured by the Blackbeard pirates for a reason. No doubt a conversation will be had between Garp and Blackbeard, between Garp and the man that appears to have inherited Rox Xebec's will, and coincidentally, a mysterious Blackbeard pirate ship is currently approaching the island of Egghead. We still don't know who is on it, but Rox Xebec, mind you, is noticeably hidden, despite the other Rox pirates showing up in chapter 1096. Even though we don't get to see Xebec's face, only hearing his voice, it's clear Oda is saving the best for last. That aside, after chapter 1095 and 1096, I'm beginning to wonder if there was a hidden prize on God Valley, something Oda has intentionally downplayed or maybe even teased in a way. Many of you have pointed out to me in the comment section that Oda foreshadowed even the Rox pirates coming together for one big score in chapter 957. The big score, the grand prize on their journey together across the Grand Line, appears to have culminated here at God Valley, before their demise. The prizes in those treasure chests on God Valley, now revealed to contain maybe devil fruit abilities in each one of which was the mythical Zoan dragon that Big Mom would give to Kaido. Another is a devil fruit power that Kuma now has. We can't say for sure what lies in the other chests because Big Mom already had her power prior to joining the Rox pirates inherited from Mother Carmel after eating her. Who knows about Whitebeard and the Golden Lion Shiki and the rest? When did they get theirs? Whether they had their powers prior to this big score or only afterwards. But what I find most interesting is Xebec's relationship with the Celestial Dragons. How he is depicted as a terrorist and a terrible criminal for pursuing the world's worst taboos, whereas Monkey D. Dragon is a revolutionary, a freedom fighter that wants to change the world. In many ways, both men probably did. They just had different ways of going about it. We don't know what Rox Xebec's ultimate ambition was, but it must align in some way with Xebec desiring to become king of the world. And so, ask yourself, a man pursuing his dream, no different than Monkey D. Luffy or anyone else. As such, why would this man Rox Xebec? Why would he be chasing after taboo knowledge? Why would Rox form the most powerful pirate crew the world has ever known and go to God Valley to steal a bunch of devil fruit abilities from the Celestial Dragons in particular? Surely Rox could have gone elsewhere to find a devil fruit power. I've said before that the people on Rox's crew tell some kind of story. Their individual dreams are just as weighty and anchored as the dreams of the Straw Hats. Big Mom in her pursuit of the equality of races in a way, and by Kaido's desire to bring the world government and Celestial Dragons down from their lofty perch atop the Red Line so they could experience the equality of war and suffering. It is theorized Luffy's dream requires the dreams of his Nakama to be realized as well. And so maybe Rox's dream and ambition to become king of the world also coincided with those on his crew. Rox's taboo knowledge, though, it's possible some of this knowledge gave him insight into what the Celestial Dragons had. We learn in chapter 1096 that the slave Jenny leaked the whereabouts or timing of the Celestial Dragons tournament to the world, or rather to pirates, some time ago. That's why both the Rox and Roger pirates came to God Valley. But it's possible Rox stumbled on something else in relation to God Valley as well. It's possible Rox just wanted to free the slaves on that island and kill some Celestial Dragons. But I don't think the God Valley incident, and how it's been so scattered about the story in various flashbacks via the memories of various individuals, I don't think the God Valley incident can just be a battle over some mythical Zoan devil fruit powers where a couple legendary characters happen to squabble over nothing of great significance or consequence for the storyline beyond abilities. Why did Roger show up here at the same time Rox did? Again, we know that they both got leaked the information, but why was Roger chasing after Rox? One man seeking to discover the island of Laughtail, the other seeking to become the king of the world. Could there be some hidden prize? Some other treasure on God Valley unrelated to the Celestial Dragon hunting tournament? Maybe a map that actually showed where Laughtail was? Maybe a rogue Poneglyph at the time? Or maybe someone else? Something ancient? Something powerful and feared that somehow overlaps with the ambition of both men, Roger and Rox, resulting in their paths crossing in a collision of wills that changed the course of history. A fated meeting. No different than Ace and Blackbeard. Roger predicted his son would find the One Piece and achieve what he could not. Ace died, but maybe Luffy will finish this task instead. As for Rox, who knows who his son is or daughter? Did he even have a child? What is clear is Blackbeard is following in Rox's footsteps, and we'll get to this shortly. But a hint that the prize of God Valley is much more than whatever devil fruit powers the Celestial Dragons were offering comes from the following realization. That sometimes in life you go searching for something, but what you find is not always what you expected. As we see the pirate Goldie Roger arrive to the island of God Valley in Kuma's memories, we don't yet know what Roger really came here in search of. Because Roger, as we know, didn't have a devil fruit ability and his crew is not full of devil fruit users. Like others. They were hockey men. But we do have some idea about what Roger left with. A boy, found in a treasure chest. Perhaps the real treasure of God Valley to be found. And as a parallel, maybe Rox Xebec found something else as well. Or was meant to find something else while he was there on that island. The same way Luffy refers to his straw hat as a treasure of its own. Something nobody would have thought of. No different than Roger finding Shanks. No different than the One Piece the treasure Joy Boy left behind. Which would be fitting given God Valley and Laughtail the events that transpired there. These are the two most mysterious and long-awaited islands in the story, you could argue. But going back to the big score of the Rox Pirates, these treasure chests on God Valley, we see Roger with a bunch of treasure after he leaves God Valley and finds Shanks in the treasure chest as mentioned. We also see Whitebeard with a bunch of treasure in a flashback, with his younger self and, on a random note, this has been going around on Twitter, but do you remember the guy stuck in a treasure chest? The guy with the green afro named Gaimon, a former pirate, once a part of an unnamed pirate crew totaling some 200 men, sailing the high seas, who came to be a guardian now living on the island of Rare Animals. An island rumored to contain legendary treasures. An island said to be divinely protected by the gods. Which is a nice connection if there were mythical Zoan devil fruits in all those treasure chests on God Valley. And somehow Kuma's power is also one. I know some of you have mentioned that to me in the comments about Kuma, but I'm still not sure about it. It could still just be a paramecia. Anyways, I think Gaimon even says in either chapter 22 or episode 18 of the anime that the rare animals on that island were formerly pirates magically transformed by him. The same description one might give to characterize mythical Zoans, a magical transformation into an animal. I would add that Gaimon looks kind of like Blackbeard, doesn't he? His face, his beard, even down to his missing teeth. But Green Afro Gaimon in this panel here is seen with 6 treasure chests, just like the 6 treasure chests that the Celestial Dragons had on God Valley as prizes. All of the treasure chests on this island of Gaimon are found to be empty. There's nothing in them. And the lesson to be had from the arc is the friends we made along the way. That's the real treasure. As Gaimon became friends with the rare animals on the island, who knows what lesson each of the Rox pirates took away from the events of God Valley and the God Valley incident, as their crew disbanded afterwards. But again, we are left to question what the true treasure of not just Laughtail but God Valley is. Is the One Piece real as Whitebeard proclaimed with his dying breath? Was Shanks a treasure better than anything Roger could have hoped to have found. What was Rox Xebec really after? Blackbeard just might be after Rox's legacy, like an inheritance from a father, a family squabble. That belongs to me, not you. Everything Rox left behind. Think about the name of Blackbeard's flagship, which we have yet to see. The Saber of Xebec. Saber and so sword, and so a sword or ship named after Xebec, directing Blackbeard's path, smiting his enemies, cutting them down, sailing onwards, right past them all. No different than Roger naming his son Ace after his sword, Ace, with chapter 1096 and the reveal that the former empress of the Kuja tribe of Amazon Lily, Elder Nyan or Gloriosa, with the reveal that she was a member of the Rox Pirates in the past. We've gotten now a glimpse into what might be motivating Blackbeard. After all, the attack on Amazon Lily, going after Boa Hancock's devil fruit ability, sending Burgess after Ace's mare Marinomi, fighting the former right hand of the Whitebeard pirates Marco the Phoenix, after having defeated and stolen the devil fruit power of his former captain Whitebeard. The list goes on, or will likely continue to grow as it seems Blackbeard is for one reason or another meeting up with various Rox pirates or those related to them, defeating them, almost like an act of revenge or finishing what was started decades ago. Could Blackbeard be copying in some way Rox Xebec? Does he somehow have access to what Rox knows? Kozuki Odin left a journal behind. Could Rox have left a journal behind as well? Or maybe even a treasure map. Just as Luffy had followed a similar path as Goldie Roger across the Grand Line, albeit different in several ways. Inherited will, similar personalities, similar journeys conditioned by unique experiences. Nevertheless, the same will, the same voyage, all the way down to the same words as Roger being expressed, and Shank's own words about Luffy. Rox formed a powerful pirate crew and chased after taboo knowledge and devil fruit powers for some reason, just as Blackbeard has done with the notorious level 6 prisoners of Impel Down. Aside from the former Marine Admiral, Aokiji, Blackbeard chasing after taboo knowledge and devil fruits as well. And both Rox and Blackbeard aspired to be a king of some kind. The king of the world and the king of their own country in both respects. Garp seems to have ruined this ambition for both men, past and present. Garp involved in the defeat of the Rox pirates in Xebec, on God Valley, and Garp ruining the schemes of the Blackbeard pirates on Beehive Island, the island that used to be occupied by these same Rox pirates, history repeating itself in different ways. Garp responsible for rescuing Kobe so Kobe could not be exchanged for Blackbeard to achieve the title of king that he was after. Although I do think Garp is the better trade that Blackbeard will try to make for that title still. In addition to the old theory of Blackbeard extracting Garp's memories via pudding or something else, or having a conversation about Rox in God Valley to find some long-lost treasure he might be after. In terms of the treasure of the Rox pirates, Blackbeard is not alone in terms of theories as to who might be connected to Xebec, as Buggy the Clown is another candidate people have discussed recently. As silly as it sounds, ever since Buggy expanded the Buggy Pirates and formed Cross Guild with his charisma alone, there might be more to Buggy than meets the eye. Buggy's shiny red nose drawing us into a mystery Oda has tried to hide, just like hidden treasure, the kind that Buggy likes the most. And it just so happens that while Blackbeard seems to be after persons or items that have some connection to the Rox Pirates, Buggy has long been after the treasure of the Rox pirate Captain John. Captain John, Buggy wants that treasure map of his. And it could be that this map, or another treasure map is out there, that will lead Blackbeard to whatever treasure Xebec was really after or left behind as well. A map that still shows the way to God Valley. A map that might have allowed the Rox pirates to trace Jenny's coordinates to find that island in the first place, before God Valley was erased. So I ran back to add this into the video. Mind you, this video was actually made prior to chapter 1096, but I delayed it to drop the other video for 1096. But I want to throw some other ideas out there about the crown jewel that is revealed to have been stolen from Hachinosu, Pirate or Beehive Island. Aligning with my ideas that God Valley has to be about a lot more than just 6 prizes in a treasure chest, unless the crown jewel is hidden in one of those. Briefly, what if Rox went to God Valley because the world government kidnapped his son? Maybe Blackbeard, although Whitebeard met Blackbeard as an orphan and appeared not to know who he was. So either Buggy or Shanks. If it's merely a coincidence that Shanks looks like Begerland Garling. Shanks was found in a treasure chest, as I mentioned. Who knows how Shanks ended up in there? Aside from Shanks, another treasure chest of interest is the one Shanks chased after and stole from the world government. That which contained the Gomu Gomu no Mi, the power of the sun god Nika as another mythical Zoan god to be won on God Valley. How fitting would it be for Luffy to get the treasure Roger might have been after, furthering that inheritance of will. It seems like Roger went to God Valley around 1 year after he had reached Lodestar Island. Lodestar being the island where Roger first realized the true purpose of the Red Road Poneglyphs, that there was a real final island, Laugh Tale, out there, and you needed to read the Road Poneglyphs in order to get there. So, prior to meeting Kozuki Oden, what if Roger was chasing after Rox Xebec, a man that was infamous for pursuing taboo knowledge? What if Roger chased after Rox Xebec because Xebec might have been able to read or understand the Poneglyphs as well somehow? The fact that Roger says in chapter 1096, "Do you have any idea how I felt this past year?" As if he'd been desperately searching for something. Could the treasure the world government stole from Rox have been that road poneglyph? Rox wanted to become king of the world, and so a few items that would have allowed him to become a king of some kind, king of the world or pirate king, include the road poneglyphs which lead to the One Piece, or a powerful devil fruit ability. But it seems Rox's ambition is shared by Doflamingo, who told us the power of the Ope Ope no Mi would have allowed him to use the national treasure of Marijoa to control the entire world, essentially making that person king of the world, realizing the dream of Xebec. Speaking of power, chapter 233 is titled The World's Greatest Power. In chapter 233 we see Buggy searching for the lost treasure of the Rox pirate captain John on a skull-shaped island, which should remind you of the skull-shaped island of Hachinosu. This same chapter, after failing to find the treasure, we see Buggy interact with the son of the pirate king Goldie Roger, Porcus the Ace, who is seen partying with Buggy. So what if in this moment we saw the son of Roger and the son of Rox Xebec? Buggy also shares his knowledge of the former Rox pirate Whitebeard to Ace. It's possible, despite how weak Buggy is, his legendary status might come to rival that of Rox Xebec. It's possible Buggy might even go to the Holy Land of Marijoa in search of the national treasure that lies there. Again, could this national treasure be what was stolen from Hachinosu? Maybe the giant straw hat, or instead something else. Rox Xebec did aspire to become king of the world, and the current king of the world is Imu Narona, who is connected to that giant straw hat in some way. And the same chapter where Buggy is searching for treasure from the Rox pirate captain John in a skull-shaped island, similar to the skull-shaped island of the Rox pirates Hachinosu. This same chapter, chapter 233, is titled The World's Greatest Power. A great power is being hinted at in association with a lost treasure from a skull-shaped island. Could the lost treasure of Rox Xebec have been something powerful? Doflamingo mentioned hidden treasure in the Holy Land. In some translations, this might be the national treasure. Who knows if he was referring to the giant straw hat, or Imu as they appear in a panel next to his words. But Doflamingo mentions something about power fading, so you might as well use it while you can. Could this be the treasure, the crown jewel that was stolen from Hachinosu? Something taboo, something forbidden that a man known as the taboo pirate Rox Xebec would be after. I've seen some people point out that this treasure might be the giant egg we see on the Roger pirate's ship sometime after the events of God Valley. Is this the reward that Roger claimed? The crown jewel of Hachinosu, stolen from Rox. Could this giant egg be an ancient weapon? Think about the birth of Shirahoshi, who is the ancient weapon Poseidon. How she, Poseidon, needed to be reborn in Shirahoshi. What if there is someone or something inside of that giant egg on Roger's ship that is finally hatched? An ancient weapon reborn in the era of Joy Boy's return, much like Shirahoshi as Poseidon. This portion of the God Valley flashback and the revelation of a crown jewel is coinciding with the current events of Egghead Island. And on Egghead Island, what do we see? We see a broken egg, as if that egg had hatched. Maybe a hint that an egg is involved, in terms of the crown jewel of Hachinosu. Again, the egg on Roger's ship, seen in various flashbacks and backstories. What would be in this egg? Maybe an ancient weapon, and when it hatches it has the power to destroy the world. As Shiki mentions, Roger knew the location of a weapon that could destroy everything. In terms of God Valley, this could be the egg of a god in a way. Since Shirahoshi's name Poseidon along with Pluton and Uranus, those are names of gods. Maybe the world government got their hands on this egg, the egg of some ancient massive dragon or flying creature, making the celestial dragon claw all the more fitting. The mark of the celestial dragons, a symbol of their power. Maybe the world government relied on this power to conquer the world in the past. But who could have that egg now? Could Shanks have so much sway because he found Roger's treasure? The treasure Roger left behind, as a parallel to Blackbeard searching maybe for rocks Xebec and the treasure rocks left behind. Shanks mirroring Roger, Blackbeard copying Xebec. History repeating itself in some ways. As Shanks is currently chasing after Blackbeard and his whereabouts, no different than Roger chasing after rocks, his first and greatest rival. Chapter 456 of Thriller Bark is titled The Devil That Came from the Ice Country, the Demon That Came from the Land of Ice. Is it possible that with the parallels of God Valley to Thriller Bark, and as I mentioned in the other video for 1096, the likelihood that a part of God Valley has become Thriller Bark? The island from West Blue that Brooks said was used to create Thriller Bark. Is it possible Oda is hinting that Rox is still alive in some shape or form, since he carries the Will of D and was chasing after taboo knowledge? Rox was likely considered a devil no different than Goldie Roger, and so a devil, the demon oars frozen in ice on Thriller Bark, resurrected by the shadows via Moria, and a giant straw hat frozen in the Holy Land as shown to us by the supposed devil Imu. This parallel might exist because just like the frozen ancient giant oars, the giant frozen straw hat and the Holy Land belonged to a giant in the past. If Joy Boy was a giant, Moria hinting at Imu in some way. The nightmares of the sea devil Imu instead of the dreams of the sun god Luffy. The connection between Thriller Bark and God Valley, which both have a connection to the world government and the Holy Land of Marijoa. It's also then worth pointing out that there's a cross on Thriller Bark, with the wings of a devil attached to a skull, hinting at some sort of demonic possession of the Holy Land. That God's land had been conquered by the devil. But this parallel might go further and hint at Rox Xebec. Could Rox be frozen somewhere? Could his corpse be out there still, waiting to be resurrected? It's curious that both the bodies of Roger and Rox are unaccounted for. What happened to them? Given that so many Rox pirates seem to have been turned into zombies by Moria and Dr. Hogback, and we have to ask why Moria did not manage to find the body of Rox Xebec. Could Rox's body have been obliterated on God Valley if most of that island disappeared after it seems to have been destroyed? Now that Blackbeard has Moria as his prisoner, will Blackbeard ask Moria where Rox Xebec is? Maybe to find the crown jewel, the treasure of Rox. Some people think more warlords will join Buggy the Clown's Cross Guild if Moria joined, given Moria's ties to the zombie of Captain John. Would Moria help Buggy find this treasure? Given the reveal of Stussy on Egghead Island, it seems some of the pirates on God Valley that day became clones. Others became zombies. But again, the bodies of Roger and Rox, the whereabouts, are unknown. Sengoku tells us Rox Xebec is no longer alive to share his tale. It's a strange thing to mention, Almost as if it were disappointing that Rox can't talk anymore. He can't squeal and share with us what he knows. If only there were a way to bring the dead back to life. If only. Who can say why Oda would tie God Valley and Rox to Thriller Bark, the ghost island, where the dead come back to live once more? Roger said he wasn't going to die, almost as if he knew death was not the end. Why was he so confident? The relationship of Roger and Rox is a curious one. Maybe Rox shared with Roger some of his taboo knowledge. Maybe Rox told Roger the true meaning of the Will of D. Maybe Rox was the first one to proclaim he was not going to die. His soul would live on somehow. But the connections between Thriller Bark and God Valley and the Rox Pirates, what if Thriller Bark foreshadowed something else? On Thriller Bark, there is a three-headed dog, Cerberus, a mythical beast. And the ancient giant, the continent puller Oars, is referred to as a demon. We think Saturn has some sort of demon or demonic power. So what if Thriller Bark is hinting at these demons being undead, immortal? They can't die. No different than the immortal Immunurona, but also a demonic devil-fruit power that Rox was after or maybe had. The sort of power Blackbeard might be after, unless he has it already. Mind you, Blackbeard has 3 skulls on his pirate flag, no different than the 3 skulls on both of the oars. The oars on Thriller Bark and Little Oars Jr. on Marineford. Each is wearing 3 skulls like Blackbeard's pirate flag. I would imagine both oars are thought of as demons given their demonic forms. So 3 skulls, the undead zombie dog with 3 heads, Cerberus, tying into an old theory about Blackbeard's final devil fruit. And it's interesting to think that in Greek mythology, Cerberus is not just a multi-headed dog, but one that guards the gates of the underworld to prevent the dead, the souls of the dead, from leaving. Just like the Yami Yami Nomi sucks in the soul of a devil fruit user. But even if it's not Cerberus, because it could be anything at this moment, this is definitely telling us something about the power Oda might be reserving for Blackbeard. The power of a demon from the underworld. The land of the dead. Thriller Bark essentially preserving various elements of the past. God Valley. Though Rock's body seems to have disappeared, could a part of Rock's soul or personality have inhabited a devil fruit that Blackbeard has already, that he has already eaten, or is currently looking for? No different than Sabo after eating the Mare Marinomi that used to belong to Ace. No different than Sabo commenting that while he, Sabo, had planned on letting Burgess of the Blackbeard Pirates go, and didn't care to fight him, Ace did care. Ace told Sabo, from the other side, via his lingering flames housed in the Mare Marinomi, via whatever part of his soul that was left behind, Ace told Sabo to finish off Burgess for targeting their brother Luffy. So if Ace can influence Sabo, if Zoro can also notice Ace and Sabo, as Zoro tells us this at the end of Dressrosa, that Sabo reminds him of Ace, then maybe Rox has been influencing Blackbeard the same way, like a ghost haunting this world, finishing what he started. A ghost, another connection to Thriller Bark. Now, consider Blackbeard's suspected third and final devil fruit, if he does not have one already. Paramecia, Logia. Does he want a mythical Zoan, a god, devil fruit, or a demon one, like Saturn? Could that have been left behind on God Valley? God Valley is where Rox Xebec is said to have disappeared, along with the island. Was Rox defeated? Or maybe he died? If so, did Rox Xebec have a devil fruit ability? And if he died, did Rox leave it behind there? Did the devil fruit of Xebec reincarnate somewhere on or near the island of God Valley? One last treasure, erased and hidden away from the world. A devil fruit so powerful, it was worth the world government vanishing the island entirely. What could have happened on this island to make it so important to make it disappear? What sort of horror might have been unleashed? The long-lost treasure of Rox that Blackbeard might be after. Maybe Blackbeard already found it. Maybe the Yami Yami Nomi, the power of darkness, is the ability Rox was seeking all along. taboo, forbidden, evil, said to be the most powerful or evil devil fruit ability in the world. The ambition to become king of the world, to essentially overthrow Imunarona, and so God. In the Bible, the devil had the same dream, and we know that dreams manifest devil fruit abilities. After all, we owe all there is to desire. If the devil had a dream, what sort of power would it manifest? The power to defeat God. But as usual, we will have to wait and see. Don't forget to like the video, comment with your thoughts below, and subscribe. You can also find me on Twitter at the following address at @VinlandRagnar. My Twitter page is on the screen. Also check out my spoiler channel called Vinland, where I'll be covering the One Piece spoilers as well as turning your comments into videos. And again, check out the One Piece news channel called D News, where I'll be covering news in the One Piece community in the coming weeks. Again, links will be in the description box and pinned in the comment section below. As always, there is more to come. Until next time.